Persian, in the vicinity of the municipal pier and cannery. Answers to the name of Abdullah bin Pasha. Liberal reward. And your number, please? Yes, I have it all down. It'll be in this Friday's edition. Thank you for calling the Village Almanac.
I've gone over the past month carefully and checked every advertiser for renewal.
Thank you, Connie. Pick up that lost cat answer on the desk, will you?
Abdullah Ben Pasha?
Seems kitty won't do.
Oh, I almost forgot.
What?
Miss Bradbury and Miss Pillsbury are outside to see you. They say it's a matter of life and death.
If I know Miss Bradbury and Miss Pillsbury.
And you do.
It's a matter of life and death will be a bridge tournament, a lecture for a poet nobody's ever heard of, or possibly a new bridge show they're arranging.
Her repairman has finished the installments on the small press. I have the check ready for your signature. He's waiting. What shall I tell the ladies?
Don't tell them anything. Let them tell us.
Dear Miss Newport, how well you look.
Won't you ladies sit down?
Thank you, my dear. We're exhausted. You wouldn't believe this morning.
Oh, one thing after another.
Breakfast at the Garden Club. I'm chairman of the Wildflowers.
I was chairman 2 years ago, but I never felt secure in wildflowers.
It does take a bit of spunk. But no sooner did we finish the garden party than we had to literally run over to the library. I'm on the committee.
Committee?
Book reviewing.
Mrs. Bradbury gave the review.
I didn't know you were that interested in literature. When do you find the time?
Oh, well, let's see. I don't actually read the books. My time is so valuable, so I simply read all the critics' opinions and quoted from them. Isn't that clever?
Extremely. My secretary said it was a matter of life and death.
No sooner did we finish at the library than to dash over to Monica Fitch's for luncheon. It was in honor of a very major minor poet. What was his name, Mrs. Bradbury?
I don't remember.
Neither do I, but he was from someplace. Where was it he was from, Mrs. Bradbury?
I don't recall.
Some foreign place. Canada, I think.
Chocolate, Miss Newport?
None for me, thank you.
Mrs. Pillsbury?
Heavens, know my diet. I know a great deal about starvation. I eat so little myself. Don't I, Morgan?
I wish you would talk that stuff terrible. The girls are beginning to talk.
Let them. Morgan's my little dog for years, and now that he's gone to his reward, I like to pretend that he's still with me. It's an eccentricity, and eccentricities are quite chic.
Who told you that?
Ladies, about this matter of life and death.
Mrs. Manoyle is outside.
Show her in, dear.
Yes, Connie, show her in.
Hurry, dear.
She's much too serious. Connie? No, my dear Mrs. Manoyle.
She actually suggested some of the girls become nurses' aides, you know, help in the hospital and that sort of thing.
Sounds like a good idea.
My dear Miss Newport, we thought so at first, but when we saw the uniforms...
No style at all. I wouldn't want my picture in the paper wearing one of those sacks. No style, none at all.
There you are, late again.
Parking is terrible.
Oh, my dear, no need to tell me. I'd walk if it weren't so fashionable.
I'll get you a chair.
Thank you.
I think you'll find this quite comfortable.
If you don't mind, I'd much rather stand. I've been sitting all morning.
You have no idea how tiring our work is.
And what work is that?
Oh, my dear, you just wouldn't know. Breakfast, brunches, teas, dinners, the committee meetings, the parties. Wouldn't you agree, Mrs. Manoyle?
Oh, it's tiring. But quite frankly, I find it all rather boring.
Bite your tongue, Mrs. Manoyle.
Naughty, naughty. Isn't she naughty, Morgan?
I just meant that sometimes I get restless.
A society leader is never restless. Her work is never boring. She leads in order that others might follow. Unselfishly, she serves expecting nothing in return. She is irreplaceable.
Bravo! Encore, bravo!
Thank you, my
the event.
Oh, we're not here for anything like that, no.
Then why are you here?
Why don't you tell me, Mrs. Nario? It's really rather silly. I mean, we're here because of a chance remark I made.
And?
Personally, I have no interest in reading my obituary.
Your obituary.
Mrs. Noyles said it was common practice of newspapers to write the obituaries of famous residents in advance.
That's presumptuous.
Actually, no. We're doing you a favor.
Me a favor.
We'll correct any errors you made.
And what makes you think I've made any?
We just want to make sure you have every fact proper and have the complete picture.
I think I've had that for a long time.
So, it is true, this business about writing the obituaries in advance?
Quite true. We're the individual of sufficient renown or importance.
Are they in here?
If they were, they'd be marked under confidential.
We'll just have it tiny.
Shocking!
What a rude thing to do!
And quite unfashionable. However, confidential means precisely what it says.
Mrs. Newport, the reprimand can't wait any longer.
Ladies, I'm putting you on your honor.
We're not children.
So I have your word to leave the files alone.
I don't think that request deserves a reply, but put your mind at ease. You have our word.
Thank you.
That woman takes too much upon herself. We were rather aggressive. Nonsense. She impresses me as being incompetent. Who knows what she's garbled our background? When Minerva Bradbury's obituary is read by thousands, we'll be correct on to the last detail. I owe it to my... Anyway, I don't want any inaccuracies. Let me in there.
I don't think you ought to. You promised.
Nonsense. Hurry, Miss Pillsbury, pushing its back.
No, you mustn't. Door, close the door. She'll catch us. Confidential, we're gonna confidential.
Nothing here. Eureka!
Ah, my dear. I know how this must look.
It looks exactly as what it is. Some kind of thievery.
I beg your pardon?
You've never begged anyone before, Miss Bradbury.
Don't take that tone with me. I'm a prominent figure in this community and I have every right to check my reputation. Who knows what you've got these files?
All right. You win.
Marvelous, I knew you'd see it our way.
Miss Newport, I must apologize.
Oh, this is so exciting. It's like having a very fashionable funeral without the unpleasantness of a corpse.
Perhaps you'd like to read it yourself.
Oh, what a great picture of me.
Nonsense. It looks like your high school graduation photo. Well, what does it say?
There's quite a lot in here about my husband and his business and how he founded it.
Yes, but what does it say about you?
And quite a lot about my son and the medal he was rewarded when he was in the service.
Yes, go on.
And how I was a lifelong resident of this town.
And?
That's it. My husband, my son. Why, there's more in here about them than there is about me.
I had to fill up the column with something.
How dare you? Why don't you write about all the things that I've accomplished?
I'd be delighted when you accomplish something.
Just last week, I was the president of the October Ball for Destitute Indians.
And if I remember correctly, your expenses were so high, there was nothing left for anyone, destitute or otherwise.
And am I responsible for that?
Isn't this all rather silly?
Silly? An outrage! After all, what could I expect from a woman who prefers printer's ink to perfume?
Oh, marvelous, dear. You put her in her place. She always was a bit of a climber. I never really liked that creature.
She always spoke kindly of you.
She hoped some of my glamour would rub off on her. Anyway, Miss Newport, down to serious business. As Shakespeare might have phrased it, if obituaries be the food of the famed, read on.
All right, if you insist. Services were held yesterday.
Ah, very clever. You rarely fill in the appropriate date and time. Read on, dear.
Services were held yesterday for Minerva Bradbury, who died blank.
Blank?
I fill in the day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Don't interrupt. Read on.
Services were held yesterday for Minerva Bradbury, who died blank, of a blank, at blank. Active in social circles, survived by blank.
Mrs. Bradford, are you all right?
Blank, blank, blank. Active in social circles? Is that all?
I believe it's the truth.
Hang your visible truth. I've been president of the Saturday Morning Bridge Club 4 times, vice president of the League of Female Bird Watchers. I belong to at least 12 organizations devoted to uplift. What about my parties? You never mentioned my parties.
I think that's covered by the phrase active in social circles.
Not to me, it isn't.
What would you have me write?
Everything, of course. Talk about the garden party I gave 2 years ago where the guests came as their favorite vegetable. It was a sensation.
Do you really want that in your obit?
Well, no, perhaps not, but why don't you list all my activities?
Because, Miss Bradbury, although those may have been immense interest to you, they are not to the reader.
It's a murder you don't identify me as Mrs. Blank. Let me tell you one thing, Miss Newport. The society leaders and obituaries are a thing of the past.
She did insist.
I don't suppose mine is too different.
Would you like to hear it?
What you write about both these women is accurate. Why would you be just as perceptive with me?
Because how we remember it isn't up to an obituary. It's what we do with our life that counts.
I haven't done much with my life except pamper myself. Same as the others. I pretended it counted for something. Like the mouse and the raven.
I'm afraid I don't understand.
A parable. Aesop, I think.
I remember. The king sent the raven to look up after all the subjects in the forest.
That's it. He sat in a tree and watched as a meadow mouse stacked twigs in one pile, and then take down the pile twig by twig. It went on all day.
Until the mouse was exhausted.
I've worked all day, said the mouse, with a sense of accomplishment.
But you haven't accomplished anything, replied the raven.
I guess it takes a raven to see us as we really are, and not as we think we are. You know, I could accomplish a few things. That Nurses Aid program I wanted. I didn't fight for it. I should have.
There's plenty of time.
I'm glad I didn't have to die to see how blank a life can be.
What happened in here?
Get busy with those files, Connie, will you?
Goodbye, and thank you.
What was that all about?
I wouldn't be a bit surprised if Miss Manilo turned out to be the good copy after all.
Better than Abdullah Ben Pasha?
Much, much better. I think that's what the raven would write